In this module, we will provide a high-level introduction to Chapter 5 of the PMBOK Guide, the Project Scope Management Knowledge Area. Before exploring project scope management, it is important to have a strong understanding of what project scope is. The term project scope represents all of the work that needs to be completed in order to complete the objectives of the project. One major purpose for planning and managing project scope is to define the boundaries of the project. These boundaries will help to create a common understanding of what work needs to be completed and what work should not be completed. For example, if we define the scope for a small project to remodel a kitchen, we may determine the high-level scope of the project to be replacing the countertops, appliances, and cabinets. Therefore, all other work is out of scope. For example, replacing the flooring or the backsplash. The more detailed the project scope statement, the more clear these boundaries will become. Project scope management includes 6 processes to help plan, monitor, and control the project work. The goal of these processes is to determine the work required to fulfill project objectives and help ensure that all of the work is performed and only that work is performed. Project scope can commonly be confused with product scope. Product scope describes the requirements of a deliverable, such as its features, characteristics, or functionality. For example, we might say the new kitchen should have black granite countertops. While this helps us to understand the goal of the project, it does not sufficiently describe the work that needs to be done. Project scope describes the work required to create or implement a deliverable that meets its requirements. For example, in order to install the black granite countertops, we will have to take measurements, remove the old counters, cut the granite, install the new counters, seal the granite, and allow 2 days of drying time. To better understand this relationship, it can be helpful to think of product scope or requirements as a subset of a much larger overall project scope. Project scope management is the first knowledge area after integration management and contains 6 of the 49 processes. Scope planning defines a set of processes to determine project scope and serve as a building block to nearly all other project planning processes. In scope planning, we will cover the plan scope management, collect requirements, define scope, and create WBS processes. Scope monitoring and controlling processes are defined to help ensure that all of the work and only the work is being performed throughout the project lifecycle and that deliverables meet their defined requirements. In scope monitoring and controlling, we will cover the validate scope and control scope processes. Once the project plans have been defined and project execution has begun, it can be tempting for project stakeholders to want to add to or change the scope. This is okay when proper change control procedures are followed. However, without going through change control, this can lead to unforeseen and unplanned changes to schedule, costs, or other project objectives. Scope creep is a common term used to describe doing work that is outside of scope. Scope creep is usually induced by external stakeholders, such as the customer. They may convince team members that the addition will be small, easy, and very important. Since our team members are trained to ensure customer satisfaction, they may not think twice about incorporating the addition. However, they may not fully understand complications that this may cause in other areas of the project. When team members perform additional work on their own without prompting from external stakeholders, we call this gold plating. They may find an alternative method of doing work that they believe will add additional value. Again, they may not be aware of complications this can cause to their work or work performed by other team members. In project management, scope creep and gold plating should both be avoided. However, change is a natural part of project management. Therefore, change requests for scope are preferred. Some additional facts worth noting about project scope management are that it only includes processes in the planning and monitoring and controlling process groups. There is no need for executing processes, since all of the project work is performed in the integration process, direct and manage project work. You will also find that there are several similarities or patterns to the way scope management, schedule management, and cost management are defined. We will explore this in the mid-course review.